everyone. Welcome to That's Entertainment, the weekly entertainment show where we look at all the interesting news from last week and some of this week. News broke in Variety this week of another major Hollywood deal currently being negotiated, with Amazon apparently looking to pay around $9 billion for MGM. Amazon spent $11 billion on film and TV music production in 2020, and this deal would give them a wealth of additional strong content for their streaming service. The legendary studio will celebrate its centenary in 2024, and its library includes 4,000 films, with the cream of the crop being the 26 James Bond movies. Other big titles include Rocky, The Hobbit, Pink Panther, the Magnificent Seven franchises, along with such other classics as The Wizard of Oz, Ben-Hur, The Dirty Dozen, The Poltergeist, Four Weddings and a Funeral, and The Silence of the Lambs. Some great films. The library also includes 17,000 TV shows and episodes for such dramas as The Handmaid's Tale, Fargo, and Stargate, and such unscripted shows as The Voice, Survivor, and The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So there is a fantastic collection of content there. And yeah, the new studios, the Amazons, the Netflix, the new Hollywood, they're beginning to step in and, offer rescue deals for some of these studios that have been really stuck between a rock and a hard place during the pandemic. So is that $9 billion price tag something of a bargain? The last two Bond movies alone, Skyfall and Spectre, took almost $2 billion at the global box office, and it's quite possible that No Time to Die could make another billion when it's finally released later this year. Having a substantial library of archived content is crucial for any streaming platform, and this deal not only includes a great range of classic movies, it also includes hours and hours of TV shows. Long-running shows with dozens and dozens of episodes are perfect candidates for binge watching and can be an important way to keep subscribers glued to a particular streaming platform. Well, just look at Netflix's strategy with things like Friends and The Office. I mean, it is incredible how many viewing hours those relatively old shows are doing. So you make a classic piece of IP, it will continue to be a major revenue driver for whoever acquires the license for that period of time. I think Amazon is looking at that dearth of content that's sitting there on the shelf at MGM and probably licking their lips right now. The MGM library would also give Amazon countless opportunities to explore those many familiar titles by updating and reimagining them as new shows and movies. Disney, Paramount, HBO Max have all shown how old franchises and characters can be successfully used that way. Why risk launching something brand new, unknown, and risky when you can instead present viewers with shows set in the world of James Bond or The Hobbit, for example? And I think, the studios are very franchise orientated, so acquiring that IP offers a lot of opportunities for extended storylines. Very interesting to see what happens. In the week that saw 4/5 of the UK's cinemas reopen, it was encouraging to see Tim Richards, CEO of the European cinema chain View, showing support for the much shorter theatrical windows that are now being adopted by exhibitors on both sides of the Atlantic. He told those watching the Screen Daily broadcast restart conference, "We have a new business model with the studios right now, and it's something that was probably long overdue. What you're going to see in the future is the windows reduce, certainly in our key markets, from 4 to 6 months down to 45 days. Some of the European markets will probably take a bit longer for that conversation, but it's going to happen in the next 12 months. But Rich has also made it very clear just how important he considers a theatrical launch to be for any significant film release. We are the shopfront for a release and always have been, and that shopfront has not been there for a year and a half. And there's been a difficulty in the past from a financial standpoint, using a lot of P&A to promote film and then having to wait 4 to 6 months to really capitalize on the home entertainment market. Last year, everyone tried one big film, Universal with Trolls and Disney with Mulan. And over the Christmas, Warner Brothers released Wonder Woman in 1984. And what that showed us was that the importance of the theatrical release, not just in terms of box office delivery. We know it was $43 billion in 2019, but also the impact it has in generating home entertainment revenues. We are the engine that drives all those revenues streams. And that's, I think, a key point that Tim's hit on, and something that's been raised many times in our show. Without the value driver of cinema, how do you value content downstream? But I don't think cinema is being replaced. I think cinema is the key value driver. It sets the price point for that film. It also orientates the audiences around a launch date, which is great for marketing. So I think the industry, and I think Tim is largely right here. And I'm very excited to see that the numbers are bouncing back across the world when cinemas do reopen. Leading independent UK cinema chain, PVOD platform, and film distributor Curzon revealed a very different new plan for their audiences this week, exploiting the belief that those indie film fans most likely to rent a new movie at home are also most likely to be above the average in cinema goers too. Their new membership packages will offer a number of credits each week to use either for Curzon cinema tickets or to stream films on Curzon Home Cinema, their streaming service. Meanwhile, Netflix revealed plans to turn away from their traditional binge viewing option for more high-profile content this summer. The Fear Street trilogy is a series of 3 horror films adapted from the books by R.L. Stine, filmed back-to-back in 2019 for Fox. The studio originally planned to release them theatrically 1 month apart from each other, and those plans were scrapped when Disney bought Fox, and the films were sold to Netflix last year. Now the streaming service will release the films on 3 successive Fridays starting on July 9th. The weekly release model for such genre content was proved very successful for both Disney and Prime. Disney regularly saw the ratings increase week on week for its Star Wars and Marvel shows, and Prime saw similar results for comic book adaptations The Boys and Invincible. So we're going to have basically a separation or a differentiation within the content options that are out there. The bigger shows, which are more high value, more where the production budgets are bigger, will probably move towards serialization, and the more casual shows and films will be the ones that will probably follow the binge model. So I think Netflix probably isn't giving up on binge, but it's probably realized that to retain audiences and keep the magic there for a particular series, it's probably a good idea to serialize the release because, as I've mentioned before, you binge watch something by the 2nd or 3rd episode in the series, you're fast forwarding through what you might term to be the boring bits. In other streaming news this week, everybody's talking about Jamie as the latest studio title to see its release move from the big screen to the small screen. The LGBTQ-focused musical adapted from the 2017 London West End production about a 16-year-old gay teen will now premiere on Prime, debuting on 240 territories this September. Arnold Schwarzenegger has signed for his first TV series. He will star in yet the untitled global espionage adventure for Netflix, playing an aged CIA operative who's shocked to discover that his daughter has also worked for the agency for years. Following on from the rumors of a few months back, HBO Max has announced plans to bring Harry Potter franchise to the platform, but the Warner Media streaming service won't be creating a new drama set in the Wizarding World. Instead, they'll be celebrating the 20th anniversary of the release of the first Harry Potter movie with an unscripted quiz show and retrospective special that will air over 5 nights. Oh, that's interesting innovation on the content front. Probably quite fun to watch as well. Disney are resurrecting another title from the archive, Hocus Pocus 2, a sequel to the 1993 movie with Beth Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy reprising their starring roles. The film will debut next year on Disney+. HBO Max and the Cartoon Network will be sharing 2 animated superhero shows, My Adventures with Superman and Batman the Caped Crusader. The team behind The Wire are bringing We Own This City to HBO. This 6-hour limited series is based on the true story of the Baltimore Police Department's gun trace task force and the corruption that was uncovered there. Amazon has ordered 7 new projects from Australia, including The Burning, a documentary about the deadly bushfires of 2019 and 2020. Amazon has also picked up overseas rights for Hulu's limited release 9 Perfect Strangers, adapted from the novel by Big Little Lies author Leanne Moriarty and filmed in Australia. I'm curious to see a Disney-owned Hulu production not transferring to Disney Plus, Stars or Hotstars platforms outside of North America. And finally, Amazon has revealed that it will debut a multi-part Borat special this week. The 3 related shows will be built around previously unseen footage from last year's movie release. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe in the comment section below. Remember, we post to both YouTube and to LinkedIn. Until next time, goodbye.